Are you tired of sellers rejecting your offers? I was too, until I discovered one simple question that completely changed how I negotiate. It's helped me flip more than 600 properties and secure massive discounts without pushy tactics. So in this video, I'll show you exactly what that question is, why it works, and how you can start using it to land crazy discounts. But first, let me show you the mistake that's making sellers reject your offers instantly. So think of your seller's brain like a car with two drivers, driver 1 and driver 2. Driver 1 is young and impatient. He reacts first, making split-second decisions without thinking. Driver 2 is the calm, experienced instructor sitting next to him. He watches the road, checks blind spots, and tries to keep things under control. But here's the problem. Driver 1 always grabs the wheel first. Driver 2 only steps in after the fact, trying to explain or fix whatever just happened. And that's exactly how a seller's brain works in negotiations. Their emotional, instinctive side reacts first, while their logical brain scrambles to justify it. So if you only appeal to logic, you're talking to driver 2, not the one actually making decisions. But if you engage driver 1 first through the right questions and empathy, you can guide the conversation exactly where you want it to go. So how do you get your sellers to stop rejecting your offers and start negotiating with themselves? Well, it all comes down to one simple shift in how you respond, something that forces the seller to rethink their own price without you ever having to argue. I figured this out the hard way. Recently, I was negotiating a deal where the seller wanted $50,000 for a piece of land. I knew I couldn't pay more than $25,000, but I also knew if I just threw out a counter offer, he'd just reject it instantly. I needed a way to bypass his initial resistance and make him lower his price on his own. So instead of arguing or just saying, I can't do that, I used a different approach, one that put the pressure back on him without sounding pushy. At first, he stood firm. $50,000 is a fair price, he said. But then I responded with this one question, and something unexpected happened. He paused, then he started talking. Well, I mean, my neighbor listed his land for $50,000, so that's where I got the number. But honestly, I just need to sell this quickly because I'm moving out of state. And right there, that's the moment I won the negotiation. Why? Because now I knew exactly what mattered most to him. So let me break down exactly why this worked and how you can use it too. At first, his driver 1, his emotional reactive side, was in control. When I first heard $50,000, my mistake would have been talking to driver 2, his logical side, by throwing out a counter offer. That would have triggered resistance and shut the conversation down. Instead, I engaged driver 1 first. I made him feel like his price might not be reasonable before he could rationalize it. And that's when driver 2 stepped in. His logical side started searching for an explanation and he began negotiating with himself. So what did I say that made him drop his price? It wasn't some complicated sales pitch. It wasn't pressure or persuasion. It all came down to this one question. How am I supposed to do that? That's it. 7 words. And suddenly, instead of rejecting my offer, he was negotiating against himself. By the end of the conversation, the seller agreed to $30,000 instead of $50,000. But here's where most people mess this up. This only works if you follow 2 key rules. First, use a calm, curious tone. Ask with genuine curiosity, not confrontation. If you sound defensive or aggressive, you'll trigger resistance instead of a conversation. Second, embrace the silence. After you ask the question, say nothing. Let the seller process it. Most people can't handle silence and will feel the need to explain. That's when they start negotiating with themselves. But here's the thing. Knowing this negotiation tactic is just one piece of the puzzle. If you really want to make millions flipping land, you need to avoid the costly mistakes that can kill your deals. So watch this video next, where I break down the biggest lessons I learned after flipping over 500 properties so you can shortcut your way to success.